Welcome. Today, I'll be talking about and showing you how to solder without using a lot of solder. And this would be very useful when you're doing fine-tooth soldering or doing board replacements on locomotives when you have a lot of stuff in a small area. So you don't want to cause a short by putting too much solder down. So this is the easiest and best way to show you how to solder without actually having to put any solder down onto what you're soldering. Because the only solder you're going to have is right here on the wire. I'm going to show you how to do that. And right here I have two speakers that I think are blown. Now, it may not look like a lot of solder, but you kind of don't want to have a glob. I mean, this would probably be fine. But there are going to be spots where you don't really want fine tooth. If you're seeing this on the day it releases, I have a video that's going to be airing tomorrow. And it's going to do a whole board replacement, and this will be very useful for that. This is the best way I can show you how to do it, because I don't have a project that I need to, and that would take me about 4 or 5 hours to do it all the way through. So I figured this will show you how to do the soldering itself, and I'll explain what I did and show you what I did, because I do have a locomotive that is a part that does have wires. So I'm going to get to the point. So what you need is some wire cutters, a soldering iron, and I have my soldering iron to 280. It does just fine. You want to keep the tip of the as clean as you can. The wire strippers are important. You want to make sure you at least have close enough to that. I'm using, it goes down to 30, 25. I'm using 32 gauge, but I've been told that's not even thick enough. But the problem is when you get a locomotive and stuff and HO, it's not thick enough. But what you do is you just strip the wire. So if I can get it to focus. So you just pull strip some of that coating off, and you got the copper showing. So this is what you're going to do. I'm going to do that. Maybe it'll... But you take that copper and you just want to twist it. And I'm struggling with this. But basically all you really did is just twist the copper up. And I know it's having a hard time. So let me see if I... There we go. If you can tell, I twisted the copper around. So it's all that. And the reason you do that is really simple. Now, I just dipped that into the flux. But all you do now is you want to tense the wire. So basically what that does is you're keeping the wire together. And you twist it so it doesn't fall apart when you solder. So what I do is this. So now that whole wire has been tensed. So it has a little bit of solder on it to keep it together. And I'm cleaning the tip of my soldering iron as best as I can. But the result of tensing is it'll have like a silver coat to the bottom of it. Yeah. So I have my wire tensed. And this is the I will be very honest. This isn't the hardest thing, but it is not too easy. So one of the things you'll always do is you'll measure, see how much you need. So like this, if you're doing a sine tooth, that's too much exposed wire. So you do is you kind of tense it back, like cut back a little bit. So you just want enough wire that's exposed, touching. That might be too much, but for all practical purposes, I'm going to do that. So you'll take the first thing you'll do, take that flux, you put it right there, you put it on there. And what this does is allows it to connect easy, so it will solder better. So what I'm going to do is get it much closer so you can see me do it. So, right back. Okay, welcome back. So I had to zoom in so you get a really good clear look. That's a really good view. So you have your tins wire. Doesn't have that copper look to it. You might see a little bit of copper up by the my nail is right by the wire cover. Let's just call it that for now. I'm having a brain fart. But as I remember, you put the flux down on the wire in that. It might take you a couple tries to do this. So I'm just gonna try to get the cord out of the way. So there we go. And as you see, I didn't add any soldering to my soldering. It was clean-ish. But it's important to keep that tip clean as much as possible. Sometimes it doesn't stick, so you might have to always do the snag test. So you kind of, after you solder it, you might have to I like to pull a different direction. That way I can make sure it's properly soldered. But if you look, all the soldering was right here. And if you say, well, I don't really like that, you just do this. Oh, you put the flux back down. You hit it with the siren again. You do the same thing. Practice makes perfect. If you feel like you just want to practice doing it, be my guest. I highly recommend just practicing. Just really scrap wire. But this is how you solder to a board or whatnot. You just use the least amount. You just use the tins, the soldering on the wire itself. That's all you're really doing. You don't really need a whole lot. I highly recommend, if you're doing any board soldering, do not put a bunch of solder. Put all your soldering on the wire itself. As you see, I'm trying to do anything without actually doing it. And this thing's magnetic, so it would have snapped by now. But you just want the least amount of solder. But it looks like the tin's kind of splintered a little bit at the end, which is fine. That's too much exposed wire. But something you can do is get some Teflon tape, which is used for electrical, and cover that up. It's not too bad. I mean, I have it zoomed up, so it's not a huge deal. Because in reality, it's, if you look at my finger, like, it's not a whole lot. So, I'm going to use the tip of this. So, I mean, my solder isn't really in it. It's just that much space. That's up to you to decide if that's too much or not. But if you're having anything electrical, I would, at the very least, put some Teflon tape there. But I hope, if you have any more questions, comment. If you want me to show you how to do something else, let me know. And if I can do it, I'll show you how to do it. But if you enjoyed that video, hit the like button, share it. If you want to stay connected and see future content, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Enjoy the rest of your day.